All right, well, just after going back and watching the Toledo game, I mean, they really they outplayed us, they out-executed us, especially in that first quarter when they jumped to a 19-0 lead. And it's just the same thing. I mean, we gave up so many big plays in the secondary, and then just losing the turnover battle 4-1, and we just made it 2 uphill. And then certainly the turnover to Calvin Wiley's touchdown. And then right away they respond with an 81-yard play that they make, the running back Thomas makes 3 of our guys miss. And then we get back in the game with the great punt return by Eugene Cooper, and now you're there with a 12-point deficit in the third quarter, and we stop them on defense, and then right away another turnover. And just not playing well. We're giving up big plays on defense, we're turning the ball over on offense, and Toledo played very well. So I give them all the credit, and they played well, and we didn't. And now we've got 1 game left, and I'm going to try to send our seniors out on a positive note, and that's certainly going to be a challenge this week. Western Michigan has played very good football as of late. They are probably the most prolific offense in the conference. I think early in the year they were breaking in a new quarterback, Carter, and he struggled. I mean, he made, he was throwing some interceptions and he wasn't really consistent. But as the season's progressed, certainly Nunez and White are 2 of the best receivers in the conference. They're putting up big numbers, and they're also a team, if they chose to run the ball, they could run the ball. Their offensive line has combined for 144 starts. So they have an experienced offensive line. They start 3 seniors up front. They've got 2 excellent senior receivers. They've got a young quarterback who's very talented, who's developing, and we are certainly going to be challenged to try to slow them down and prevent big plays. And then the other side of the football, they're young on defense. They're a very young defense. They start 3 freshmen in the secondary. They start a freshman defensive lineman. I think their defensive players are playing very hard. I think they're very well coached on defense. They're just young, and so they've been a little bit mistake prone that young teams will be, but they're playing hard, and the explosiveness of their offense gives them a little bit more margin for error on that side of the ball.
Coach, a word first about the Toledo game. One of the things that this team has been able to do is find ways to make late charges, stay close, and things like that. Mm-hmm. And obviously in the Toledo game, you didn't give yourself a chance to do that with the start, did you?
No, and again, the 2 things that we went into that game saying is that on offense we could not turn the football over. I said it going into the game. Toledo statistically was a very marginal team. You look at their offense and their numbers don't blow you away. You look at their defense and they're certainly improved, but statistically we're not one of the top defenses in the conference. But the one thing they've done all year is generate turnovers and win the turnover margin. And they won it by 3 in our game. So we can't turn the ball over. We can't turn the ball over in the first series, the second play of the game. We turned the football over. And then we have a nice long play by Kamar Jordan to maybe get us back in the game, and we fumble it. And then we throw 2 more picks. And then the other thing we emphasized all week is that the ball could not go over our heads. We could not give up a big play in the passing game, and they just ran by us. We gave up the early one to Page on a vertical route, and then we gave up the post route to Stafford, and then we gave up the long run to Thomas. So it's, and then we gave up the double pass. And so there's, we talk about the one thing on defense is don't give up big plays, and we gave up 4 of them. And, we didn't give ourselves a chance. So, most football games between offense, defense, special teams, you play about 175, 180 plays. In those 8 to 10 plays that we turned it over or gave up big plays, we eliminated the other 170. And for those other 170, did we play well? Yeah, at times we played well, but football's a game of big plays and critical plays, and they made them and we didn't.
Does that become a point of frustration for you then? I mean, you ask your kids to focus on something and it doesn't work.
You know what, we, in some cases, the guys, they had the, you know, some of it is certainly personnel related. You know, the games that, you know, after the Michigan game, you know, geez, are you working on tackling enough? Are you doing this enough? I mean, you know, we could work on tackling, you know, 2 hours a day for the next 20 weeks, and I'm not sure if it's going to help us get down Denard Robinson. And teams that have good, skilled perimeter players, we have struggled against all year long. You know, that, you know, going into the season, we had two major concerns personnel-wise. That was our offensive line and our secondary. You know, we graduated 4 starters in the secondary last year, and we were thin to start the year. We're starting 2 walk-ons. And, you know, it was an area of concern. And, you know, as the year went along, and, you know, we had an injury and we had to dismiss a guy from the team, you know, that group hasn't got stronger, it's gone weaker. And then when we've played teams with good skilled players, we're in trouble. And Toledo certainly exposed that. And then the other struggle has been up front. We went into the year very concerned with our offensive line, and between the Scott Lewis injury, the Ben Boychuk injury, you know, the Blake Walker injury, you know, and I'd say our offensive line, I think they're, you know, they're playing their hearts out. They really are. You know, and Tyler Donahue, who is here today, I mean, he has been the one stable force in that offensive line. You know, but he, again, and very early in the game, Toledo's pass rush got to us, and it's not like they were blitzing. You know, so at a certain point in the secondary, you've got to be able to tackle another team's skilled players, and you've got to be able to cover them. And on the offensive line, you've got to be able to block people. And, you know, Toledo got after us pretty good with their pass rush, and we didn't tackle their skilled guys. And those are 2 hard things. It's very tough to overcome those things. You know, because your line allows your skilled guys to make plays. And conversely, you know, Toledo has a very good offensive line, and you know, Owens had time to make his reads and get the ball down the field.
Another question, you mentioned Owens. Would you compare, you've got 2, inexperienced maybe isn't the right word, but certainly young quarterbacks there, but based on what's around them, especially the offensive line, I mean, Owens has a chance to do things and kind of learn with a safety net to a degree, where Matt has got a, you know, is fighting a battle there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've had broken in new quarterbacks before. And when a new quarterback plays for the first time, that is always a challenge. And I just think the lack of stability, the lack of depth we've had in our offensive line, at times has made it challenging to play quarterback. You know, we talked this year in the preseason and in the spring, is we wanted to diversify the offense. We wanted to run the football more. We had Willie Jeter back as a senior tailback. We wanted to take some of the stress off of the quarterback position because we were going to be playing a freshman quarterback. And you know, unfortunately, just, you know, the lack of depth and all the injuries on the O-line, you know, we're running the ball worse this year than we did a year ago. And you know, the protection has not been you know, as good as it would be, I think, if we had stayed healthy. I really think at the start of the year, if all the pieces stay together, because I was very, very excited about how our offensive line played against Troy and played against Tulsa. And our struggles in the offensive line started at Tulsa when we lost Ben Boychuk. And when he had the high ankle sprain there, you know, which in part led to, I think, giving up the sack at Marshall that we lost Shilsey for 2 or 3 games. You know, and again, I mean, we're certainly not happy. I watched the film. Our guys are playing hard. Jordan Russos is playing extremely hard. Dominic Flellen is going to be a very good player. You know, I'm excited to get a healthy Ben Boychuk back. Having Scott Lewis back has been great. Tyler Donahue has really played at a very high level all year. I mean, you know, what goes unnoticed is Tyler last year, you know, going into the season, we thought was probably the 4th or the 5th guy. And his game has improved so much that he's, you know, clearly the best offensive lineman we have. and he's playing very hard and prepares very hard. So, you know, it's not a matter of guys not giving effort or not trying to prepare themselves. It's been a lot of moving pieces, and obviously that's something that we need to work on and fix and correct and add depth to, because it's going to be critical we improve in that area.